And the hits just keep on coming. Rutgers signs yet another 4-star recruit, this time a wide receiver out of Toms River for the second time this week. Let's get to it. Just when you think Rutgers has kind of run its course with the positive momentum that they've been experiencing over the past couple weeks, they sign, and it was a shock to me, yet another 4-star recruit, this time wide receiver, Michael Thomas III, out of Donovan Catholic in Toms River. And it's another guy that maybe Rutgers wasn't thought to be in the lead for, but somehow, some way, they managed to pull off another recruiting win. And we talked about, or I talked about this a couple times over the past couple weeks. And when you start to build momentum of elite athletes, elite local athletes, seeing that a lot of 4-star recruits are committing to the program, they're more likely to throw their chips in and push their chips to the middle of the table. We saw yesterday Jalen Matthews recruiting, and I think in his own words, he said he was going to kind of shock the world, and he did a little bit. We got another 4-star recruit. We're now number 2 in the Big Ten, and this kind of solidifies the class for Rutgers. They have an opportunity to crack the top 5. Yes, I know the Blue Bloods are not done recruiting, and they're going to pick up some momentum and some steam. But in the past, you would have thought that Rutgers, after some early success, would kind of drop back, probably to the mid-30s somewhere, maybe 40. That's not going to happen this year. Every time you think, okay, we're done, we get a new commit. Yes, we're going to have to hold on to these new commits. But if you look at our program and Greg Schiano, they don't lose a lot of guys. They look for particular culture guys. Greg talks about it all the time. And it works for them because they get the kind of guys that fit their program and want to be there. So I have pretty good faith that they'll be able to keep most of these guys, if not all of them. Michael Thomas, Donovan Catholic at Toms River, 5'10", 200. Going to have some growth ahead of him. Maybe he hits 5'11", 6 foot. Get 210, 215. As far as 247 is concerned, he's the number 4 recruit in New Jersey, and yet another top 10, top 15, top 20 win for Rutgers football recruiting. Number 18 wide receiver in the nation, number 108 overall with ESPN, and once again. We beat out some Blue Bloods here. We beat out Penn State, Michigan. Illinois was in the mix. Syracuse was in the mix. Duke and BC and West Virginia. So a good job by Coach Schiano and the staff. And I once again, I just love where we're going. You can see when Greg talks about how he wants to build the team, he wanted to build a Big Ten type team. What did that mean? He wanted to get the big boys up front on the offensive line, and I'm ecstatic at how they're building size, competency, and athleticism on the front line. They may not be on the offensive line. They probably are going to build some more depth on the offensive line. But you could also see where they were looking to strengthen already a strength of theirs in the secondary, so I love that. Wide receiver. We know where we've been in the quarterback room and the wide receiver room the past few years. It hasn't been great. Wide receivers that couldn't create separation last year. We kind of had a little bit of a surprise. Of course, we had some injuries because that's just what we do. But Christian Dremel kind of surprised some people. Had some plays for us. He was kind of a good slot guy with some breakaway capability. But if you look at how we're building the wide receiver room, we're just not getting highly recruited athletes. We're getting big guys. So we're getting big guys on the offensive line. We're getting guys with good size on the defensive line and in the secondary. And this wide receiver class, we've talked about how the upcoming season would be our best wide receiver group, our best wide receiver room in probably 10 or 12 years. But look at the size of these guys that they're recruiting. Bunch of 3-stars we got over the past couple of weeks. Vernon Allen out of Maryland, 6'3", 185. He 74 catches, 1,123 yards, 13 touchdowns. Number 16 prospect out of Maryland, another top 20 guy. Number 100 wide receiver overall, 6'3", 185, probably has a little bit of room to grow. Another 3-star, Jordan Houston, out of Connecticut, who was number 99, our wide receiver in the nation. He was number 6 out of Connecticut. He's 6 foot, 6'1", 190. He still has a little bit of room to grow. Sinai DeGraffenreid from Atlantic City, 6'1", 185. You know, Malachi Corley type potential there. Used to be a running back, can play special teams and return kicks. Now a wide receiver. And he's going to be able to, he's 6'1", 185 now. If you can imagine an ex-running back who's turning into an elite, or has potential to turn into an elite receiver and play some special teams. We're talking about another receiver that's 6'2", almost 200 pounds. And then the ones that are, you know, already in the room. You know, Corey Duff is kind of a tight end, wide receiver. 6'5", 207, another 4-star guy. Nassim Brantley, 6'4", 200. Ian Strong, 6'3", 210. Fama Torre, 6'3", 195. Chris Long, 6 foot, 180. Ben Black, 6 foot, 180. And Dremel, 5'10", 185. But we have big guys, guys that have speed. Michael Thomas III was a track guy. And he's going to be not just be physically almost a perfect size for a wide receiver. He's going to have that elite speed that Greg is looking for. Ben Black, another speedster. Corey Duff for his position, you know, kind of that swing tight end wide receiver, extremely athletic. So this is a team that's going to be big, physical, and have good athleticism. Really good speed at the wide receiver position. Things are looking really, looking pretty good. And all we really need to do now is get protection from the offensive line. You know, we're going to have some competition on the right side. Kalakamanis, he's going to be the wild card this season. And I saw an interesting article just today, actually, from SB Nation. And the article was entitled, Big Ten 2024, the Rutgers offense might throw the ball with a question mark. Now, we all know what Greg wanted to do. He wanted to run the ball, play defense, be there in the end, and if you can make a play to win the game, that's what you did. Partly out of lack of depth and injuries on the offensive line, injuries at the quarterback position, inaccuracy at the quarterback position, having a highly recruited young quarterback who wasn't quite ready and had to be thrown in there right away with Gavin. But they seem to think that having Kalakamanis in there to be able to exploit more sections of the field is going to give Rutgers a little more opportunity instead of running it on first down, running it on second down, and sitting in section 124 as a season ticket holder. I don't know what the stats are, but I wouldn't be shocked if Rutgers led the nation in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. We're running the ball. We get 3 yards. We get 3 yards. We get 3 yards. hopefully now on those short yardage downs and distance that we can have a short, quick passing game. Kalikimanis, I know he struggles a little bit, misses some throws, but I think last season at Minnesota that had to do with losing guys, new system. I think Kirk Shiraka will be able to manage Kalikimanis much more easily than he did with Gavin. And we can hit a screen pass, we can hit a quick out, sideline pattern. Even though Gavin had a great arm and could throw it a long way, we kind of missed quite a few deep passes. So I think Kalikimanis has some pretty good accuracy on deep passes. SB Nation went on to say how with more opportunities will be available in the intermediate passing game, and this is where Gavin really struggled. Just missing guys in the intermediate passing game that were open, wide open, just couldn't hit them. So our opportunities with Kalikimanis should be there for us, especially if defenses stack the box for the running game. I think we'll have some opportunities, at least more than we've had the past couple of years, and that should be helpful. Extending drives, actually getting in the end zone and scoring, and maybe in those big games against elite competition where we're in the game late in the third quarter, mid-third quarter, late early fourth quarter. We don't make those mistakes in that intermediate short that we saw Gavin make repeatedly, including last year when 3 interceptions near or in the red zone that they weren't all his fault, but they couldn't execute in crunch time. We're going to need some of those young wide receivers to step up. Tight ends, a little bit of a question mark. Maybe Victor Kanapa can step up. And, unfortunately, Bowman didn't really do much last season. We had some hope for him. And then continuity and consistency on the offensive line and be able to fill out that right side of the line should create some promise going forward. You're not going up against Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State's defense, for that matter. That should be give us some more opportunities against those softer Pac-12 defenses like UCLA, USC, and Washington. Nonetheless, another terrific week for Rutgers 2025 football recruiting class. Great job. I keep saying this, and keep an ear and eye out for any potential moves coming up in the very near future. We might have thought it was done over the past couple of days, but I'm sure that Greg Schiano has some tricks up his sleeves to bring in guys to build some depth, which is the second part of what he wants to do, is not just get the physical specimens and the athletes that he needs to compete in the Big Ten, but also depth. And we've seen how depth, or lack of it, at quarterback, offensive line, and linebacker kind of hurt us. So good job, Greg Schiano and Rutgers staff and recruits. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you the next time.